It was late August, 3 months into hurricane season, when Harvey appeared in the Gulf of Mexico. Everyone prepared for a rain event, Harvey exploding into a Category 4 storm, making landfall in Rockport, Texas, taking roofs right off.
You got 3 hours of hell, and then an hour low, and then 3 hours of hell. Yeah.
It turned out the hell was actually just starting.
Let me tell you, it is dropping a lot of water. The streets are treacherous.
The rain was unrelenting. Over 4 days, Houston saw more than 40 inches.
It's funny because when computer models are calling for 30 or 40 or 50 inches, you almost have to say, could this be possible? But I don't know how you really can prepare for that much rain.
The fourth largest city in America disappeared beneath the water. Trucks were swept away, and life for many changed instantly. 17,000 people would be rescued, many by everyday people in boats, canoes, whatever they could find. And when the waters receded, tens of thousands of homeowners were left with just the clothes on their back.
We lost the car, all the clothes, school clothes, everything gone.
Harvey made the record books as the costliest tropical cyclone ever, nearly $200 billion in damage. Unfortunately, Mother Nature was just getting started. Just a week later, Hurricane Irma formed, quickly reaching Category 5 status. Winds pushing 185 miles per hour that would ravage the Caribbean. The island of Barbuda declared uninhabitable. The island evacuated in the storm's wake.
By Saturday night or Sunday morning, we could see Irma somewhere in the vicinity of South Florida, the Bahamas, Cuba, the Florida Straits as a major hurricane.
See here,
Irma had Florida in her sights early. The menacing forecast threatened the entire state. A state of emergency was declared nearly a week ahead of landfall.
we weren't just evacuating South Florida or Central Florida or the East or West Coast. We were evacuating coastal zones all the way up the peninsula.
For the Florida Keys, if you were going to create the worst case scenario, that's what we're now looking at.
11 hospitals would be evacuated ahead of Irma, including all of the hospitals in the Florida Keys.
We've not seen anything this ominous since Andrew.
On September 7th, a hurricane watch was issued that wrapped around the entire southern portion of the state. An estimated 7 million people tried to get out of Irma's path, the largest evacuation in Florida's history.
It gets horrendous. I mean, just bumper to bumper.
Interstates became parking lots. It didn't matter if it was 2 p.m. or 2 a.m. Gas stations ran dry. For those who did find gas, you waited hours to fill up. When someone cut the line, tempers flared, one man even pulling a gun. Shelters filled to capacity, and Florida Keys residents, long known for not evacuating for storms, panicked.
I am nervous because a lot of the people that I wanted to help rescue chose to stay behind.
Irma made landfall as a Category 4 hurricane near Big Pine Key on September 10th. The winds tossed trailers and tore off roofs, but it was the storm surge that really wrecked the Keys. Boats were thrown around like toys. Homes and roadways crumbled.
I've got the walls up, and we can always rebuild it. But hey, live on the ocean, you go out there. Take the chances.
As the storm pushed north, Brickell became waist deep in storm surge. 2 construction cranes attached to developments crumbled, and trees toppled in just about every South Florida community. Irma made a second landfall in Naples and moved up the state. The hurricane leaving much of the state in the dark. More than 4 million FPL customers without power.
This is the first time in our company's history that we've had all 35 counties, 27,000 square miles of our service territory hit.
An army of linemen entered Florida to restore power. For some, power came back in just days. Others, it took several weeks. Coral Gables sued FPL over it.
We want our infrastructure, our 60-year-old transformers to be updated. We want for the poles not to break because of old age.
And then there were those where the power came too late.
3 individuals were found deceased on the 2nd floor of the facility.
After spending 3 days in sweltering heat, someone finally discovered the horror occurring in the Hollywood Hills nursing home.
I just want to know if, God forbid, he's one of the ones that passed away, or if he's okay where he's at.
150 seniors were rushed to area hospitals, many with temperatures over 102. 12 residents died. Their deaths ruled a homicide. The hospital management pointed fingers at the state. The state shut down the facility.
I hope the truth comes out. it's senseless.
Right now, we don't know where to go.
Florida Keys residents were frustrated as well as they camped in cars, unable to return home until crews cleared roadways. When they did finally return home, many found that there was not much to salvage.
I've been through Wilma and Rita and Katrina and all those. I've never seen anything like this in my entire life.
The week of Irma, I lost 9 pounds, and more was because I was just sick to my stomach thinking about what potentially could happen. Of course, I didn't share that with anybody, but studying hurricanes and seeing the type of damage they can do and looking at the consistency in the models and the potential, I just thought this is going to be something that will change people's lives. Thankfully, this wasn't the one.
There is no better example of the one than Hurricane Maria. The storm was just short of a catastrophic Category 5 status when it hit Puerto Rico on September 20th. The island's power and water infrastructure wiped out. The devastation quickly turned political as relief efforts faced a logistical nightmare.
I hate to tell you, Puerto Rico, but you've thrown our budget a little out of whack because we've spent a lot of money on Puerto Rico.
This is the time for action. Let's not talk about the debt. The freaking debt.
2 months after Maria, more than half of Puerto Rico is still without power. Estimates are it will be 2018 before power is on for everyone, perhaps just in time for next hurricane season.